Hello there and welcome to our second and final edition of UBC News tonight, this Monday, the 24th day of June 2024. We're coming live to you online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. On sign language it is Elizabeth Nakakoni and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanankoma. The Vice President Jessica Lupao has commissioned the 937 million shillings Akoboy Health Center 3 in Akoboy Sub-County, Katakwi District. The construction of the maternity ward, staff houses, pit latrines, a laboratory and a placenta pit were funded by the government of Uganda and the World Bank to upgrade the facility to a Health Center 3. While launching the facility, Alupo urged local communities to improve their eating habits as one way of preventing diseases. She highlighted government commitment to improving the road network for easy access to health facilities in the she promised to increase the number of health workers at Akoboy Health Center unit, connecting electricity to the staff houses and improve the piped water supply.
Ida kwa ni mara nekede health center 3 mambo bara health center 2 ya tanyo itunga guri mara kede health center 3 e potea kuma kichwene lwa ngaleu aya tanyo adexina koboina. This has when it is upgraded to Health Center 3, the structure changes and more workers have to be deployed here to handle this situation. And here we are grateful to the contractor, we are grateful to the council.
Pleased to be here with you to commission this facility as the chief government monitor for this district. We must be here to accompany you so that any issues we are ready to answer.
Uganda police has cautioned political parties on the interference of the National Environment Management Authority NEMA eviction process in the areas of Lubichi in Nansana. Police authority through its spokesperson Fred Enanga says NEMA evictions in Lubichi are by the book and the politicization by political parties will incite violence. This was during the weekly press conference at the police headquarters in Nagoro.
Last week, police in Lubiji Nansana disrupted the assessment tour of the leader of opposition in parliament, Joel Senyonyi, by firing tear gas where over 1,000 residents that had encroached on the wetland were evicted. Police has warned political parties on the interference of legal eviction NEMA.
Of course, we have politicians who are trying to politicize the whole exercise, and some of them are vowing to, carry out protests and demonstrations in the manner in which which NEMA is carrying out the restoration exercise. But of course, you know that any unlawful protests are illegal. They should we want to warn them against that.
The police authority has vowed to continue offering protection of the NEMA eviction team and the equipment at the eviction site.
And for those other catchment areas within the boundaries of NEMA, because people know where the boundaries of NEMA are. So they are very, very clear, well demarcated. So if you find yourself in those areas, it is better you find ways and means of abiding.
With NEMA vowing to continue its eviction process in other designated wetlands encroached by people, the role of police in the maintenance of calmness will be very crucial. Meanwhile, police have arrested 5 private security guards for the attempted murder and threatening violence on the Minister of State for Energy and Mineral Development, Fiona Nyamutoro, while on a routine visit at a mining site.
So these ones are being charged with threatening violence and attempted murder after they cocked their guns, and which put the inspection team in a very vulnerable position.
Police in the same manner is carrying out extensive investigations to determine the legality of the mining site in Kisoro District. Police have established that unscrupulous individuals have the tendency of forgery of police appeals with intent to tarnish the name of victims by circulating the appeals online.
We've also noticed that there are money lending institutions that are also abusing. They use copies of our previous police appeals to insert photographs of their loan defaulters and their names. So this is not genuine and it's not circulated by the police. So anyone who comes across the false witness appeal from a money lending institution should report matter immediately to the nearest police station.
Komagum Rogers and Faith Cayenne for UBC.
Now, police was compelled to fire tear gas to disperse worshippers at God's Healing Tower Ministry who were blocking the NEMA eviction team from demolishing their church. The church, under the stewardship of Moses Wright, is one of those that were issued restoration orders last month for eviction. Susan Naonga reports.
The National Environment Management Authority has clarified on the public contestation on why other structures like Starbucks gas station were left out during the Bugiri restoration exercise. Starbucks, one of the contested structures according to NEMA, received government approval in 2017 before government suspended issuance of certificates for development on wetlands in 2021.
So, removing them would mean that government is backtracking on its own approval and would cause financial loss to you and me, the taxpayers. So, what you people are calling selective enforcement is actually prudence to avoid causing loss to the taxpayer.
Dr. Akankwasa says the government reviewed all available options and took a decision to leave some structures, including Starbucks, to save the country from financial costs in compensation of breach of contract.
Removing them would result in civil liability to government. There are some other establishments with past approvals, including some factories. These have been left until government takes a decision on such cases.
In reference to Section 133 of the Environmental Act, Dr. Akankwasa recorded that no single person will be compensated, but instead they should be prepared to compensate government for the crimes they committed.
Government cannot therefore compensate encroachers, as this would not only invite more encroachments in anticipation for compensation, but also would be a tacit approval by government to sanitize criminal activities. You cannot commit a crime and then government compensates you for commission of that crime. It should be the other way around.
He says the government has started making case files with consultation from the Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecution to see if the cost of restoration should be transferred to the degraders.
But now case files are being compiled and the government will make a decision whether to prosecute the removed encroachers or to pardon them.
As of today, at least 214 households have so far been evicted from Lubigi. Out of the 315 that were served restoration orders, NEMA has since not received an appeal from anyone seeking reconsideration, and also clarified on the alleged bona fide occupancy by some people.
To be protected as a bona fide occupant, you must have stayed there for 13 years without interruption. In other words, nobody has warned you, nobody has complained, nobody has talked to you. It does not arise in this case because we have been warning people, we've been evicting people.
To all those who have not yet received restoration orders but occupying gazette wetlands have been asked to vacate peacefully to avoid being made to compensate government. NEMA also clarified on the issue of Kazi Beach. Lubigi entirely occupies about 1,700 acres, out of which only 400 remained intact without encroachment. Susan Naung and Stephen Kalisha.
And we do apologize for the mix-up of the stories there, but that story was about the National Environment Management Authority, which has spoken out on why some structures were untouched during the Lubigi wetland restoration exercise. And of course, there you had Dr. Akankwasa Badidega, NEMA boss, saying that structures including Starbucks were left out to save the country from the heavy financial cost in compensation of breach of contract. Now let's go back to that other story that we earlier on announced, where police was compelled to fire tear gas canisters to disperse worshippers at God's Healing Tower Ministry who were blocking the NEMA eviction team from demolishing their structure.
Pandemonium broke out in Nabwerutu between followers of God's Tower Healing Ministry and police, showering the restoration process. During the eviction exercise, followers of God's Tower Healing Ministry attempted to block NEMA enforcement team from demolishing the church after they locked themselves inside the church.
Babadde tebananziramu, so singa babadde banziramu ne bangamba nti nedda yembasaba nabadde nja kukireka naye nze babadde tebananziramu nga NEMA ligo timu yabawandiikira era ne bafuna.
Police was compelled to fire tear gas inside the church to disperse the crowd and allow the eviction. During the bitter encounter, some people, including security, sustained injuries. After the encounter, the enforcement team continued with the demolition exercise amidst tight security.
Tufuuse ngombo ze mu ggwanga lyaffe lya Uganda. Simanyi oba gavumenti eno etukoledde enteekateeka nga badde bawangaalira mu Lubigi nga munnaffe nga bwe bafa ku bagwira, naffe engeri gye tufuuse abagwira abagenda tufuna we tugenda okubeera.
NEMA has warned all those interfering with the exercise.
When you have breached or offended the law, it doesn't matter whether you are rich or poor. The law catches up with you.
NEMA contends Lubigi is one of Kampala's extremely degraded wetland. The restoration exercise continues in all gazette wetlands in Kampala. Susan Naunga reporting for ABC TV.
Now, the petitioners pursuing a censure motion against the 4 backbench commissioners of Parliament have resorted to countrywide tours in search of members of Parliament who have not yet signed the motion. Led by Ruemiaga County Member of Parliament Theodore Sechikubo, the motion is less by 10 signatures to meet the required threshold of 177 names. The activists have informed the clerk to Parliament of the move, requesting support to carry out the process. It is almost a month since the notice of censure was championed to remove the commissioners Matthias Impuga, Prosia Kampurira, Esther Afoyo-Chan and Solomon Silwanyi for allegedly sharing about 1.7 billion shillings in disguise of a service award. It is uncertain whether the petitioners will use the suggested 2 weeks campaign to gather the signatures before the motion is taken up by events. Take a watch.
No, we have already gained over 167 signatures. Now, this is the burden that the members seated here are carrying. You cannot just drop those signatures. What will members say, those who entrusted us with their signatures? So we are devising all ways and means to reach out to the remaining signatures so that this motion can have its day on the floor of Parliament. That's why we are here. That's why we are doing everything it takes. You cannot just surrender the 167. How will we respond to members once they ask about their signatures? Number 2, for you to carry 167, it's heavy. It's a heavy responsibility that we are carrying. Therefore, we must take it with care, with concern, because we talked to them, they believed us. Therefore, we must have a final and logical conclusion when this matter is on the floor of Parliament. We shall stop no between. We shall stop no between, but reach Parliament. And all of you, the accused members, should be preparing. After the next 2 days, the next 2 weeks, we are assuring you, come rain, come shine, this matter must come on the floor of Parliament.
We cannot hide our heads in the sand and assume things are okay. People should come and account. So we are calling upon all our members of Parliament, our colleagues, wherever you are. We are coming to your district, to your regions. Please come and append your signatures. And I want to make this clear. We are not requesting the clerk to Parliament to facilitate us with any allowance. No. We are not requesting for any facilitation in form of allowance. The 2 weeks we are going to be moving the whole country, we are going to facilitate ourselves. All we are asking for is a parliamentary bus, a coaster with fuel, facilitate the driver, and Parliament security. That is all. We do not want to be misunderstood that we are looking for allowances. No. As a team. And we call upon colleagues, members of Parliament who want to join, please join us.
Uganda Broadcasting Corporation has requested government to invest more money for the setup of the equipment for the digital migration system for Ugandans to be able to enjoy free-to-air channels. While appearing before the Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, COSASE, the Managing Director, UBC, Winston Agaba David, said the initial investment of only $23 million is what is letting them down.
Officials from Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, led by the Managing Director Winston Agaba, have appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises to answer queries in the Auditor General's report for financial year 2022-2023. According to the report, UBC asked for a budget of 24.7 billion shillings, and what was warranted was 8.8 billion, a difference of 15 billion shillings during the financial year under audit. The corporation also collected non-taxable revenues amounting to 14.4 billion shillings. On non-financial issues of provision of the digital terrestrial television signal services, the Managing Director, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, said currently UBC covers a radius of 65 kilometers around Kampala, and the 18 sites upcountry are in a blackout after the satellite provider switched the broadcaster off due to a long time outstanding debt. He told the committee that the direct to home, which is an enhancement of the DTT, will enable them provide signal to the entire country using one spot.
Unfortunately, the pay TV platforms have positioned themselves in a way that all Ugandans are paying to watch TV. And they're not paying to watch the foreign content, but they are paying to watch all our local channels here, from NTV to NBS to Bugiri to Spark. That's what people pay to watch, and to watch UBC. So our concern is for government to recapitalize UBC Signet such that we can be able to make sure that the digital dividend that has been realized from digital migration is enjoyed by everyone without paying subscription fee to watch television.
Members of Parliament on this committee were interested in knowing what is frustrating the process of having the DTT, yet government has invested $23 million.
Country investing $23 million, that is around 87 billion. And you went ahead to say that if its lifespan is almost coming to an end, what is stopping the installation and utilization of that system?
It's our money which we are about to lose. And you categorically say that all Ugandans will pay, including our grandsons. This committee would want to know who is frustrating that. As a MD, you must know where the problem is, where you want help, who is frustrating that arrangement, where Uganda is going to lose a huge sum of money.
Invested about $23 million at start, and this did not even do 50% of the digital migration that was needed. So, give or take, it could be $40 million, but it can be rolled out. It's not a one-off, and we are looking at direct to home. So as technology evolves from digital terrestrial transmission, we are now talking about direct to home. And this is the technology that most people are utilizing at home, where you have a dish, you have a decoder, and you subscribe. We want to have direct to home without people paying subscription, but being able to access all the local TV channels in Uganda at no cost.
There is also an issue of continuous defaulting by TVs on their payment.
In migration, it had been envisaged that for Signet to break even, Uganda, we needed to have 67 private TV stations running. Currently, we have 40 TV stations, and even the 40, they are limping. Not all of them are able to pay their signal carriage fees. As UBC, we had a meeting with National Broadcast Association, NAB, the executive, and we agreed that a deadline was being given. And the deadline was for everyone to clear their areas. Out of the 40 TV channels, there could only be about 2 or 3 that are up to date with their payments.
Continues to be investigated of the pay TVs, because their clients are also saying government is not paying us. So it would be unfair to say put them off the air because they are not paying, thereby disabling them completely, yet government is supposed to pay them and they pay UBC. So I think it's an area we're going to look at it, invite the ministers or the responsible entities that have crippled their operations.
Winston Agaba also told the committee that the president had directed the Prime Minister to ensure the corporation gets an annual budget support of 30 billion shillings going forward and have all debts from NSSF and URA verified and payments effected by Ministry of Finance. Committee members requested officials to share a copy of the directive.
You also deny employees their sweat or their retirement packages because it has an effect on how much it is supposed to attract in terms of interest. Now, when the president says write off the penalty, of course it has implications on our revenues as a country, as a government, but he has a duty to pay NSSF in terms of principal and interest, as well as the accumulating interest. So it's a matter that we continue to investigate and pursue. Government should be in a position to pay. Otherwise,
Agaba explained on the query of some staff getting salaries from inside out. The Corporation. The Auditor General discovered that some UBC staff appears on other government entities' payroll.
As you know, that there was the rationalization of a head count of all government workers. And indeed, there were 4 workers who were with UBC and also with other entities. We have terminated their contracts with UBC, and legal proceedings will take place because the IGG has interested themselves in this matter. And it's not only UBC as an entity, it cuts across all government entities.
Officials from UBC have been told to return to the committee with a document for the schedule of TVs that owe it, among other documents. Nafka Farida and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Now, the Principal Cooperative Officer, Ministry of Trade and Industry, Kavundira Leonard, charged and remanded to Luzira Government Prison. He's facing charges of allegedly diverting over 3.4 billion shillings for Buyaka Growers Cooperative Society Limited. Kavundira is facing these offences together with members of Parliament, including Igara East County Parliament, Paul Mawanda, and others.
That's Leonard Kavundira, aged 59 years, the Principal Cooperative Officer at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, who has been arraigned in the Anti-Corruption Court for planned charges that led to his arrest. Court presided over by Magistrate Esther Asimwe charged Leonard Kavundira with 1 count of conspiracy to divert public resources of over 3.485 billion.
Between 2019 and 2023, conspired to defraud the government of Uganda 3,448,714,611 shillings, which was intended for war loss compensation of Buyaka Growers Cooperative Society Limited. Have you understood?
Leonard Kavundira is charged together with other legislators, Igala East County Member of Parliament, Michael Mawanda, Wamakuyi Mudimi, Paula Kamba for Busiki County, Namutumba District, and lawyer Kiria Julius Taita Nkoko. The 4 were charged and remanded last week. Court couldn't grant Kavundira bail, following the absence of the trial magistrate Joani Asiro. Court has now remanded Leonard Kavundira to Luzira Government Prison until 9th July 2024. Meanwhile, the same court before Magistrate Ebati Asimwe has set 27th June 2024 for the prosecution to make its reply to the bail application of the former boss of Mulago National Referral Hospital, Dr. Byaruga Babaterana, together with other accomplices.
I'm alive to the fact and the legal provisions that bail should never be used as a punishment and also should be granted at the discretion of court, which should be exercised judiciously. While the defense filed the documents with the state by end of last week, this court has just received a bulk of documents and identification documents since morning, and it would be actual pretense to say that court has verified documents in minutes.
The accused applied for bail through their legal team.
Your Worship, that certificate of title has also got a transfer form from the registered proprietor in the certificate of title, Mr. Chigundu Eriab. Your Worship, the A2 had recently purchased that land and was in the process of transferring it.
Prosecution led by Gloria Nzukuru asked court for more time, which Magistrate Ebati Asimwe granted. Before hearing their bail application, court first charged Charles Mwasa with 1 count of embezzlement, which he pleaded not guilty.
You respectively all deployed at National Referral Hospital Mulago and being authorized users of integrated financial management systems in abuse of authority of your respective offices, you flouted payment procedures when you actually processed payment of Uganda shillings 3,658,380 shillings to Setramaco International Limited, purporting to be payment for the supply of consumables to be used in routine servicing and repairs of large-size sterilization equipment.
Dr. Byaruga Babaterana and his co-accused have been remanded to Luzira Government Prison. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
The first phase of the UPDF Engineers Brigade works on Makobore High School, Kyano, in the Rukungiri Municipality, Rukungiri District, is progressing well. During a monitoring and evaluation tour in Rukungiri District, the team from the UPDF Engineers Brigade assured Rukungiri officials of a commitment to quality work. The team also encouraged district officials to conduct regular site supervisions at all UPDF projects.
The Committee on Education and Sports allocated 15 billion shillings to renovate and upgrade traditional schools to improve infrastructure in learning institutions. Makobole High School Kinyansano in Rukungiri Municipality is among the only traditional schools under construction by UPDF Engineers Brigade.
In Rukungiri, we finished the theater for the municipality. We are now working on the maternity ward, but also have like you have said, the Makobole High School. We are going to renovate and refurbish that school so that it comes back to its glorious days.
Makobole High School in Kigezi sub-region had dilapidated structures which the Ministry of Education is refurbishing. The 1.4 billion shillings project include renovating the dining hall, administration block, staff room blocks, as well as the head teacher's house.
First phase was to do work on the administration block, on the headmaster's accommodation block, on the dining, store and the kitchen block, and then provision of sanitation facilities and some external works. Now the second phase, we shall now go to the accommodation blocks, the dormitories for the students, and then we shall call it a day and to go back to its original state.
But after they have received the money, surely the progress is very good. The quality of work is so good. They are not really cheating.
Rukungiri district officials expressed gratitude to the government for allocating funds for all projects undertaken by UPDF Engineers Brigade.
Why I am being impressed, we gave them about, we have been suffering with the local contractors. Me, I have never seen any structure which had 4 ring beams. Really, that one will last over 200 years. If you look at Makobore and the money being given to them, it is utilized.
The theater is complete. The renovation of the staff houses complete, and I commissioned them. We have been having site meetings there, and I want to assure you that the workmanship is very good, the quality is good, and there is value for money.
Established in 1962, Makobole High School, a government-aided boys' boarding secondary school, has nurtured many prominent government leaders and legislators. Haruna Mutesasira, UBC News.
Now, the head of ATMIS, also special representative of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Ambassador Mohamed El Almine Suif, has lauded the UPDF for resilience and hard work in liberating Somalia from the Al-Shabaab. Ambassador El Almine commended the Ugandan forces at a media briefing in Somalia following the official handover of Balile Forward Operating Base to Somali National Army by the Sector 1 Contingent Commander, Brigadier General Anthony Mbusi Lukwago.
Recently, Brigadier General Anthony Mbusi Lukwago and UPDF's Director of Public Information, Brigadier General Felix Klaije, UPDF officials and dignitaries from African Union handed over Balile Forwarding Operating Base to the Somali National Army.
Yes, we are witnessing the handing over the report to the new former commander.
Brigadier General Anthony Mbusi Lukwago, the Sector 1 Contingent Commander whom we found told UBC at Alain Base Camp in Banede region that the Somali National Army hasn't met any attacks at the newly occupied base.
I handed over the FOB of Balile to the Somali National Forces. So far, I haven't had any bad incident that has occurred, if it had happened, I would have known. From what you saw as we are handing over, you saw quite a number of forces were mobilized and they were brought there. They had all the equipment, and they have all the trust that maybe that they will effectively defend that locality that we did hand over.
Brigadier General Lukwago says, ever since ATMIS took ground in Somalia, peace and harmony has been restored.
It is a political people wanting to come to power. Today we have His Excellency Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, but there are also other people who are vying for that post. However, Somali observes elections every 4 years. They go into elections. So far since Uganda came in, I think we have seen 5 presidents coming in and going, but all of them have been democratically elected.
Somalia now boasts of numerous infrastructure developments, with the different countries establishing their own embassies.
Been engaged in a number of community key leader engagements with the local population, but also there have been dialogues with the government and the other, of course, supported by other partners.
Meanwhile, following the successful handover of Balire Forwarding Operating Base by UPDF to the Somali National Army, the head of ATMIS, also the special representative of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Ambassador Muhammad El Almin Sofu, implored UPDF's efforts in liberating the war-torn Somalia.
Shabab, they seize and they take, vessel and ship passing by, from the Red Sea, passing by the Indian Ocean, going down to the channel of Mozambique. It is a global challenge for the trade. I take this opportunity to commend that good work and to congratulate the UPDF and the leadership in Uganda. You have done a lot of sacrifices.
Despite the great wonders by ATMIS to Somalia, there comes a gradual and deliberate time of transition to prepare Somali National Army ready to manage their own security affairs.
One day, we'll have to leave. This is like a family. A son is born, grow up, but one day he will leave his mom and he will go and get married, go somewhere else. So we need to prepare our moral that one day we will leave.
Responding to the forum to deal with the delays in compensating injured and families of the fallen soldiers, Ambassador Sofu says they pay for the disabled in warfare and not the injured.
What we can do as the mission, if something happened like what happened in Blumarere last year, so we engage, our team in terms of investigation, assessment, and we document everything. All the file, we transfer them to Addis Ababa, and Addis Ababa is dealing with our partners, those who are in charge of the funding, if it comes to any compensation.
As the peace contributing troops await ATMIS transition from Somalia in December this year, the Al-Shabaab still carries out attacks in Somalia.
Inside the Al-Shabaab, an armed force group that has been fighting to overthrow the elected government of Somalia, to come out with a more inclined Islamic, hardline Islamic group that looks at governing the country on the strict Sharia law. So that is the armed forces, and these are basically why we are here to support the government in quelling that rebellion of the Al-Shabaab.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
We'll now take a short break, but we'll be returning with much more.
Amanya gange nze Namtebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyenyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere weewaawo abafere gye bali naye ennamba eri emu yokka era bw'eba ekukubidde omanye eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo era ndi musanyufu nnyo. Naye MTN mobile money mbebaza nnyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire.
Together we're unstoppable. Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow with subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
Welcome back from that short break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Anita Among, has urged Rotarians to engage more in charity by donating to the needy communities. Among was speaking at the 37th installation of the President for Kololo Rotary Club of Kampala. We have more in this story.
While officiating the handover of power from the President Alex Muhwez to William Kaguma, the 37th President of Rotary Club of Kololo, Speaker Anita Among seemed concerned about sanctions against her.
As I'm not a Rotarian, and this one I must say, because I tell the truth. That is one of your four-way tests. I tell the truth, and I will always do the truth and do what is right. When you see me being sanctioned by so many of these guys because of the truth, I am saying God created Adam and Eve. He did not create Adam and Adam. And I am not moved. I am not moved by any sanction. I feel at home.
She urged the Kololo Rotary Club to uplift communities through donations to the vulnerables.
It is all for the good of humanity. I love what Rotary does. Rotary goes down to the humanity. It looks at socio-economic development. It looked at issues of health, issues of education, issues of friendship, creating friendship.
The outgoing President, Alex Muhweza, highlighted the key projects they have undertaken, but emphasized the environmental conservation.
The Rotary Club of Kololo has not engaged directly in tree planting this Rotary year, but we are part of the bigger family of Rotary Going Green initiative, where several clubs in the country have partnered with communities, with the National Forest Authority, with local governments to plant trees to mitigate issues of climate change, but also to demonstrate the goodness of environmental protection.
The incoming President, William Kaguma, shared insights on how their duties will benefit the society.
First of all, we are going to start by renovating Naguru Reception Center, which is for the children, abandoned children, which is in Naguru. That is what we are starting with within the first 100 years. Painting, carving off the area for the vegetables, and we have already given them the cow.
Speaker Anita Among donated 100 million Ugandan shillings to help Rotary Club of Kololo equip health centers in Rwampara and Namutumba District. Deborah Namamonde, Chibedi Bashir, UBC News.
Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, has challenged women in Bugiri District to tap into government projects in order to join the money economy. Now, this was contained in a message delivered for her by the Minister for Lands, Judith Nabakova, during this year's belated Women's Day celebrations for Bugiri District.
Bugiri District has commemorated this year's belated Women's Day celebrations. Held at Mawanga Primary School, the celebrations have been attended by the Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakoba, representing the chief guest, Ruth Nankabira, the Energy and Mineral Development Minister. This was attended by the section of local leaders led by Bugiri District Woman Member of Parliament, Agnes Tucker.
Today we are gathered here not only to commemorate the achievements of women, but also to reaffirm the NRM's government commitment to empower and advance the women's cause in every sphere of life.
Also present was the Minister for General Duties in the Office of the Prime Minister, Justin Kasule Lumumba. The day is always celebrated on the 8th March, with this year's national events having been hosted by Katakwi District. Mary Namkose, Robert Onyango, UBC News.
The Deputy Inspector General of Government, Anne Tunomji Shamhirwe, has appealed for selflessness among Ugandans as they go about their daily duties. Speaking at the ceremony of Lions Club of Kampala Central District 411B, Muhairu emphasized that escalating corruption in the country is primarily fueled by selflessness.
Addressing at the 29th handover of the Lions Club of Kampala District 411B, the Deputy Inspector General of Government, Anne Tunomji Shamhirwe, stressed that combating corruption requires a collective effort and a commitment to integrity, highlighting that the pervasive vice is a significant obstacle to national development.
At the heart of the problem of corruption in this country is selfishness, the lack of care, empathy for others, the lack of a sense of responsibility towards others, and the failure to recognize the adverse implications of our actions on the broader good. That's a serious problem in this country. It is a call for all of us to stand up and challenge ourselves to redesign the way we think, to redesign the way we serve.
Muhairu was contented by the selfless services rendered by the Lions Club International of helping the less privileged. To this, she pledged total support and made her intentions to join the Lions Club of Kampala Central.
In Uganda, you will notice that we live in a society that is increasingly becoming inward-looking, with so many selfish acts that are happening in virtually all sectors of society, in the communities that we live in, by the leaders that are supposed to be our good examples. So when you find a group like this that is doing selfless acts, you would want to be part of it. So that's why I want to be part of them, to be part of their good ethos, to be part of their vision.
Relatedly, the keynote address was also calling upon Ugandans to change from the fixed mindset of thinking to a growth mindset so as to cause an impact on society.
There are two kinds of mindset in this world. You have either fixed mindset or you have a growth mindset. So if we've been in the club for 29 years, the challenge we could be running is that we are fixated on the way these clubs have run for the past 29 years. And we are waiting for policies and change of direction to come from the head office. When they come from Uganda at this club. A 2% mindset person here can change the entire landscape of Lions Club in the world.
As she resumed office, Lion Imelda Twanyaire was delighted by the progress of the Lions Club of Kampala Central and committed to take it further. She reiterated the club's mission of hitting the 1.5 million lions and the benefits that come with increased numbers.
This year we are going to emphasize recruitment. We know there are very many service-minded people out there. There are very many people who like to serve their communities. The only issue is we've not invited them. We are going to invite as many of you to join us, hands, to serve the less privileged in this community.
However, at our association, Lions Club, Lions International, we have another branch, the body, in the names of LCIF, which is Lions Club International Foundation. This is the funding arm or the fundraising arm of our association, and every year they raise resources in order to support all the clubs all over the world in order to respond to the needs of our communities.
Installation of the new club's leadership climaxed the celebrations. Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Indeed, selfishness fueling corruption in this country. Now, senior mobilizer of the National Resistance Movement Party in Bunyoro sub-region, Harriet Tebulihwa, has urged parents to instill a culture of hard work and responsibility in their children. Tebulihwa was speaking at the Father's Day Union Day celebrations in Mpasana sub-county, Kakumiro district.
The National Resistance Movement Party senior mobilizer in the Bunyoro sub-region, Harriet Tebulihwa Sali, has advised parents to nurture their children into responsible citizens by teaching them the value of hard work. Tebulihwa urged parents to embrace the government's universal education program to educate both boys and girls, emphasizing that education is the best inheritance parents can provide.
Encourage them to go to school, use the little chance they have to study, and also to provide to them whatever they need in schools. And they shouldn't look at the girl child alone. They should treat all the children the same.
This advice was given during the celebration to mark Father's Union Day at Mpasana sub-county in Kakumiro district, where she emphasized the importance of promoting gender equality within families.
Gender aspect should be enhanced in all homes and at all levels. There is nowhere it was written that it is always the mother or the woman to cook food. Even when she's sick and the father is there very healthy, he will have to wait for the woman to cook, to prepare food for him to eat. No, it isn't like that. It should not be like that. Let us all join hands at all times.
Milton Aliija, chairperson of the Fathers Union in Chisita Archdeaconry, Bunyoro Diocese, highlights the Fathers Union role in family and community development in Bunyoro.
A father is the head of the family. You are supposed to make sure that your family is running on well, smoothly. We are supposed to educate children. We are to provide basic needs. We are supposed to provide each and everything in the family to ensure that everything is moving smoothly.
Reverend Aine Alinda advised fathers to embrace unity, highlighting that a united family is a powerful tool for socio-economic development.
We are supposed to lead the service, to pray for the homes, and also to be exemplary.
Additionally, Tebulihwa announced plans for a campaign to keep girls in school through practical training in making reusable sanitary ware.
That we contact those companies or NGOs that are providing such kind of materials. We bring them down here to educate our girls on how they can make their reusable pads so that they can remain in schools.
Now, authorities in Serere district are calling upon government to extend support to the education sector so as to uplift academic standards in the district. The authorities, that include the district education officer Ichumar Edith and area members of parliament, expressed the need for the support during the handover of over 300 iron sheets to schools that were affected by a hailstorm that left many schools deroofed.
The Office of the Prime Minister has handed over iron sheets to schools that were affected by hailstorms in Serere district.
Beneficiary schools, and I want to thank the Office of the Prime Minister and the Office of the Minister of State Affairs for these iron sheets that have been delivered to these schools, and I believe it's going to help with the roofing and improving on the structures of the classrooms that the students are going to be in.
The district education officer Ichumar Edith commended the government for the response towards affected schools.
Some learners in this Serere district study under trees because of the very good enrollment that has come to the schools. So all that is a challenge. But I'm very grateful to the government of Uganda. As we are all witnessing today, they are giving us 306 iron sheets to ensure that some of the classes can be roofed using the iron sheets.
The Serere RDC Okot Emmanuel says that disasters have affected the NRM manifesto of promoting the education standards.
Under 21-2026 manifesto, each and every parish is supposed to have a primary school, each and every secondary school, sub-county to have a secondary school. And when just things happen, it will derail our effort, or the effort of the government, or the effort of the NRM government.
Meanwhile, the district chairperson Stephen Ochola called for financial support to have the structures fully roofed.
We don't have a budget line for roofing these classrooms. So we cannot have money for timber, we don't have money for nails, we don't have money for the carpenters. So that's when you find that we always come in to ask the parents to contribute.
The leaders also urged the school administrators to plant more trees as a mitigating measure to climate change.
We need to plant more trees, and indeed the Ministry of Forestry has been quite proactive in that by giving out free seedlings, and we as members of parliament are beneficiaries of such.
Leaders in Serere district say that school infrastructures are a major challenge to academic performance.
Stay fresh. You wanna come preach and be my guest. Lighting. Lighting. I did make a lighting up.
Business news now, and the third Deputy Prime Minister Rukia Nakadama has directed Mayuge Police to release those arrested in Rwanda following allegations of use of wrong fishing gears. Nakadama also told those encroaching from the gazetted forest reserve in Mayuge to stay away following reports of eviction by NFA where houses were demolished and property lost.
Residents say about 100 homes were evicted and property destroyed in Mayuge District. Residents claim NFA staff hired gangsters to carry out the exercise. Mzee Yokwi, a victim of the eviction. Area leaders in Mayuge condemned the act.
Now these people, they know this is their land. The government, they see that their land. Now the problem we have is this government. The government never come and they found out.
During a belated Women's Day celebrations for Mayuge District, the third Deputy Prime Minister Rukia Nakadama instructed police to release those arrested on allegations of illegal fishing. On the issue of eviction, Nakadama denied allegations that she supported the stay of sub-members in the reserve and gazetted areas.
They've eaten people's food because they came from somewhere and settled there. Abantu ababali kulyemere yabene nga bakubati ninze nabaleta nkali kuleta ku muntu. Tugemagaine kwesho.
She warned parents on the increasing cases of defilement in
Bapeye emitwalo 10 muleke azale. Abana bali kufuna obuzibu, bali kufuna fistula olw'okubanga bali kuzaala nga bato.
Minister for Youth Balam Barugahara held the development program in Mayuge, ranging from cocoa growing, skilling, and support to NRM government.
Now, democracy has been tough to build in most countries in the developing world. A senior educationist, George Wateta, suggests that nurturing democracy early would nurture the practice solution. Take a watch.
Youth make up 70% majority of Uganda's population. Although a small percentage vote, democracy enables free, fair and peaceful elections, promoting transparency in political dispensations. Senior educationist George Wateta emphasizes engaging youth in practical democracy at a young age.
We want to nurture this into the minds of our children. You see, Uganda is where it is because of the quality of leaders that we have. We have leaders that manipulate the electoral process and do a lot of malpractices during elections. So we want to teach the children so that they can be able to know the value of their vote.
At Kangulumira Public Secondary School, elections for various positions were conducted with election materials provided by the Electoral Commission of Kayunga District. Students appreciated the electoral process.
So we are able to express our choices, we are able to tell this one will be a good leader rather than want to be a good leader. So in so doing, it enables us to express our choices and express our rights.
I think we have practiced democracy as we talk about it in political education, and our teachers have enabled us to get a sense of why we should vote and why and how we can select our good leaders.
If they live here, when they can be able to go and choose the right leaders in their communities, they will hold them accountable, and then we shall have a changed community. So we want to change the mindset. We want to have a new breed of leaders that have gone through a transparent electoral process.
In the position of head boy, Lawrence Mwanje was unopposed, as Brian Isabile was unopposed for the position of head prefect.
Sports news now, and the 9th edition of the Uganda Swimming Federation Nationals Swimming Championship will take place this Thursday, the 27th of June, and conclude on Sunday, the 30th of June. The 4-day meet will take place at Kampala Parents School in Naguru. Over 6,000 athletes from 20 clubs nationwide are expected to participate.
Championships, which are due to start on Thursday at Kampala Parents School. We have about 600 swimmers that have signed up from several clubs. It will be a 4-day championship. It was, first of all, earlier in the day, a 1-day championship. The competition grew to 2 days, so we pushed it to 2 days. The previous editions have been held over 3 days. But now for us to be able to manage it even better, we have had to push it to 4 days.
This event, first of all, is the climax of our swim season. Our season starts in July and ends in June. However, the main objective, we want to use it to select Team Uganda to be representing us in the different forthcoming competitions between now or between July and May next year. There are many other competitions like the National League. In case we need further selections, we can use that. But this is the only event where literally 99% of all athletes under our database, all teams under our database come in to take part to be able to get selected on the national team. The next main event will be the Africa Aquatic Zone 3, which will be hosted later in Burundi. So this is the event we're going to use to select that.
And that brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Elizabeth Nakakoni, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night. But we'll leave you with the weather forecast for tomorrow with Molen Kenyana at the Weather Center. Molen.
Yes, a
Very warm welcome to tonight's weather report. My name is Molin Kenyana. Now we have seen mostly sunny and hazy conditions across much of the country. We also did have a few rains, especially for areas within parts of eastern Uganda and the northern sector. But also looking at our satellite analysis for today, saying that we still have that high pressure system south of Africa. Now what this is doing is that it's pushing dry winds over the desert areas in the south of Africa towards our country, and that brings in mostly dry weather accompanied by hazy conditions. At the same time, we're also seeing that most of those winds are also being enhanced across Lake Victoria, and that has created strong winds for the lake users. So we continue to advise people using Lake Victoria for this time of the year to really look out for those strong winds. Now in tomorrow's forecast, we do expect to start off with light showers that will be across the central parts of Lake Victoria Basin, but also that will be over a few areas, but much of central Uganda will start off with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Over to the eastern part of the country, we're likely to start off with mostly light showers that will be across several places. And for the western part of the country, we'll have mostly a mix of clouds and sunshine. Towards the north, we're looking at mostly sunny intervals for the Karamoja region. We do expect to have a few rains that will be across parts of central northern Uganda as well as northwestern. Later in the afternoon, we start to see some of the rains developing for mostly parts of central across Mubende, Kampala, but the western part of Lake Victoria as well as much of central will continue with sunny intervals. Eastern Uganda will continue to see those rains coming through at 29 degrees centigrade. That will be across Soroti, and also likely to have quite a warm one for Jinja at 30 degrees. Now looking at the western part of the country, we'll continue with mostly sunny intervals, very warm weather for Kasese. Temperatures are going up to 31 degrees centigrade in most of the areas within the upper 20s. And also for the northern sector, Karamoja at 31 degrees, warm weather over there, continuing with sunny intervals. We again see those light showers for central parts of, that is central Uganda, but also looking at temperatures in the upper 20s to 31 degrees. Very hot weather is forecast for Cairo with sunny conditions at 40 degrees centigrade, and even hotter than that for Dubai at 45 degrees centigrade. Also with sunny conditions. On the other hand, we're looking at a chilly day for Nairobi, 22 degrees with sunny intervals. That brings us to the end of tonight's weather report. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Molin Kenyana. I want to wish you a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko.